Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into something really deep, a spiritual teaching that offers a completely new way to look at our inner world and maybe even achieve some real self-mastery. And it all kicks off with one of the oldest questions humanity has ever asked itself.
You know, for as long as we've been around, this question has been bouncing around in our philosophies and our religions. It seems like the answer should be a simple yes, right? But what if it's not that straightforward? What if there's another way to look at it entirely?
So, for centuries, the big human quest wasn't just about living a long life, but about finding a deathless one. Now, I know that sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, but the ancient sages, they came at this from a totally different angle.
See, what they were talking about wasn't really about your body living forever. Not at all. They were pointing to a state of being, a quality of awareness so deep that the very idea of death starts to change. But, for most of us just trying to get through the week, this concept feels like a total riddle.
Okay, so why does this kind of mastery feel so completely out of reach for us? Let's take a look at the world we're actually living in. A world that's constantly pulling our attention outward, away from ourselves, making us feel pretty powerless.
And this is where it gets kind of ironic, right? We think of ourselves as the smartest species on the planet, blessed with this higher level of awareness. But just look around. Our lives are so often filled with stress, conflict, and this massive tendency to blame anything and everything else for our problems.
It's like we have this built-in habit of outsourcing blame. When something goes wrong, our first instinct is to look for a reason out there. And get this, the source material for this explainer gives this wild example of people claiming a tragic plane crash happened because the pilots had bad horoscopes. We'd literally rather blame the stars than just accept that sometimes things are the result of clear actions and consequences right here on Earth.
So, if it's not the stars, and it's not fate or bad luck, then where does the real control come from? This leads us to the most important turning point in this whole teaching. The journey has to go inward.
And this is where everything changes. The real work doesn't happen in a fancy university or some ancient temple. It happens right here, inside your own experience. You already have everything you need. You are the lead researcher in the laboratory of you.
Okay, so to really get the first step of this internal experiment, just picture a tortoise. What does it do when it senses danger? It pulls its head, its legs, everything right into its shell. This is an amazing metaphor for us. To find our center, we have to learn how to withdraw our senses from all the noise of the outside world. By taking charge of what we let in, we're taking the very first step toward controlling our mind.
But controlling our senses, that's just scratching the surface. Now we're getting to the absolute heart of it all, a truth so simple, so fundamental, that most of us completely miss it our entire lives.
Seriously, think about this for a second. You can point to your brain, right? That's an organ. But your mind? That non-stop river of thoughts, feelings, and memories. Where is it? You can't see it. You can't touch it. So what in the world is it, really? Well, according to this ancient teaching, the mind isn't a thing at all. It's a process. And that process, believe it or not, is your breath. The sages taught that this constant flow of air in and out of your body doesn't just keep you alive, it is your mind. Think back. The moment you were born, that first gasp of air, that's what kicked your consciousness into gear. Every single thought you've ever had, every emotion, every sensation, it's all been carried along on the current of your breathing. The two are completely, totally inseparable.
Okay, so if this is actually true, if your mind is really just your breath, the implications are, they're huge. It means the key to mastering your entire inner world isn't some complicated therapy or difficult practice. It's something you're already doing thousands of times a day.
So how do we actually use this key? It's almost ridiculously simple. You don't have to chant anything or force anything. Literally, you just sit. Find a quiet place, bring all of your attention gently to the entrance of your nostrils, and just watch. Feel the air coming in, feel the air going out. That's the whole practice. No judgment, no effort, just observation. And the effect? It can be absolutely life-changing. Because if the mind is the breath, then when you pay attention to the breath, the mind naturally starts to settle down. That storm of thoughts that's always going on, it just starts to quiet down all on its own. And in that quiet, you find incredible clarity. Your choices get better, your words get clearer, and your actions become so much more purposeful. And that right there is the ultimate promise of this whole practice. This isn't just about feeling a little more relaxed. It's about unlocking your own potential. When your mind is clear and calm and steady, anything is possible. The power isn't out there somewhere, it's right here, in the simple, quiet rhythm of your own breath.
So this incredible tool, this key to your own mind, it's with you right now, this very second as you listen to this. It never leaves you. So the only real question left is this. Of the 20,000 or so breaths you'll take today, how many of them will you actually notice?